Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. So, if you need help with your tech, you need to contact us here at BizChicks. And we'll let you know how to do that in just a few minutes. But before that, I want you to know that we got Coach Caren in the house all the way from Toronto, Canada. She is here to help us learn more about how to handle our money. She runs a money mindset academy that just will blow your mind and will help you get your finances on track in your personal life and in your business. And she's going to also let us know about workshops that she has coming up that you're going to want to sign up for. So let's get this party started. Coach, what you got for us today?
Today we're talking about, because last time we talked about that you're smart enough. So let's put that into action. Today we're going to talk about why growing our income is or feels impossible at times. Because we know you're smart. And why isn't it moving? Why isn't it going anywhere?
That's a great question.
Right? And you're wondering what's going on. And
Mhm.
um, so many things were happening this morning to me, guys. I want to share this little piece with you. And why? Because that's what happens when you're about to embark on bigger things, to move the needle, to climb again. These forces feels like it coming against you, but really it's to push you. Look at the force when it comes to you as the space. Shuttle that will take you up. But look at it as the force that's going to move you up further instead of it coming to fight you back, because it makes you want to feel that it's there to push you down, but rather jump on it and let it push you forward. That's what I
Mhm.
have to tell you this morning. Jump on it. Don't be afraid. You might get a little bruise here and there, but keep going. Keep going, looking upward. Have that upward trajectory. And so we're going to
Mhm.
couple of three things this morning. We're going to talk about if you're earning from a place of lack, it feels impossible. And we're going to talk about once you get there, once you understand that that's not a place you want to be. And I'll tell you how we move from there, right? Once you
Mhm.
understand, then you're going to move the needle. You're going to get better. You're going to move. That's what we're going to talk about, a lot of movement. And you're going to decide that eating less, not food wise, but I'll tell you what I mean later. Eating less is going to get you faster to the place you want to be.
Okay.
Talk about all of that in a minute. So, guys, I like to use practical things when I come here and talk to you
Yes.
because it just makes sense. You could take it, use it in any shape or form. This is why when somebody that's running a business understand business, it really doesn't matter what business they run. And when you hear people say that, they'll say, "Well, you can't be passionate about anything." But what they're really saying to you, I've got system in place. I understand operations. I understand how to delegate. I understand how to see the overall big picture and allow the people I hire to implement, or for how I have learned how to implement myself. And therefore, I took my lessons, I practiced on a few others, and now I'm good at it. So, this is why I can jump in and do any business. And so, I want you to really think about that when somebody says, I can start any business. If they're confidently telling you that, don't think that they don't know what they're saying. They know what they're telling you. These are the main things that they're saying to you. I don't get bugged down on the little tiny stuff that we really think we have to be bowed down about. And like if you want to punch right in with a story, I know somebody who used to work at a eatery. Let's call it like it's like it probably would be coincide with a coffee shop in North America, and they did all the baked goods. They did all the food at the back, and the person who was running the business had no financial clue. And so they run the business down to the ground. But one of the backers of the business was a wine guy. He owned a winery. And he
Mhm.
said to the baker, he says, listen, he's an idiot. Come in half and half with me and let's keep this going. Because the reason this business is so powerful is because you are the baker, the maker. You're doing this good stuff. So let's partner and make you better.
Okay.
And the person who were told that didn't took the opportunity, didn't think they were worthy. So let me tell you why they didn't take the opportunity. They didn't think they were worthy,
Mm.
didn't understand their value, they could never see themselves in this position. And this is why the course that I talk about, that I sell for about $49, it really helps you to see who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And, and so because those things were lacking inside of them, the opportunity came. It presented itself not once, not twice, about 3 or 4 times. And they literally turned it down because they were so used to working for somebody, being told that, this is what you do. And even though they went off and do things on their own on the side, this is why I don't mind side hustles, but I rarely tell people to be cautious of side hustles, because if your brain only stay in side hustle mode, you can grow into first, a business owner, an entrepreneur, because they're different things, eh? And you can grow into this business, this company that you so want to be, because you haven't understand all these different things to bring you over.
Mm.
And this has nothing to do with leaving your job. You can stay in your job and be the owner of a company because you understand what it takes to be an owner of a company. You got to understand these things. And these are important things. These take times to register in your brain if you're not familiar with them. So what really happened is we coming from a place of lack. And when you're coming from that place of lack, what I just said to you feel hard and daunted, feel like it's not of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend a lot of your time as a doer, this is a heavy load for you to pick up and move with. Doers, and nothing is wrong with being a doer. Most of us, that's where we start. But you have to leave being a doer to graduate into the things you want to do.
Okay.
Got to leave it alone. That doesn't mean you don't do, but it means you get to do at a different capacity.
Okay.
Before you make money, I said to people all the time, you need to see you making the money.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, if your goal was to make $10,000 a month, every day you would talk about the $10,000 in everything you do. This is not obsessing on money. This is just taking the mind that you have not been working in that arena forever and now asking it to do, it feels like the impossible. I'll give you an example. You tell a child to stand on their head. Matter of fact, you don't have to tell them, they just do. You tell an adult to stand on their head and you're like, are you crazy? Oh, my blood is going to drain and all kind of things. There's a guy that sell a machine that talks about insertion. It turns you upside down. He invented it. I think he was 60 something when he invented the machine. And people thought it was the craziest thing. And over when you first go in the machine, you get dizzy. You feel like
Mm-hmm.
you want to throw up. And he's explaining all the bad stuff first. And it feels like, why are you selling us this machine and telling us all this stuff? Because he wanted to get it out of the way so you can't say, well, you made it look good. He said, this is all the things that are going to happen to you. But over time, you're going to correct yourself. You're going to correct the things inside of you. You're going to rearrange the things that went sluggish and do this and that. Over time, you're going to be better for turning yourself upside down. Kids always got all the best solutions and ideas. Sorry, guys, they do, but we don't pay attention to it. I
Mm-hmm.
was listening to this lecture once where this guy was saying he went to talk to some young 4 year olds and 8 year olds, and they said, "What do you want to be?" And one guy said, "I want to be a garbage truck. I want to work in a garbage truck. I want to do this." And all the things adults seen as yuck, he's like thinking about him hanging off of the garbage truck and feeling good. This is just good feelings to him. It had nothing to do with the garbage and how it smelled and the pay. It was all about that feeling of
Mm-hmm.
how he's going to feel from being on the truck. And so let's bring that back to the money. When you start talking to yourself about the $10,000 you're going to make this month, that's what you're focusing on. The next part is that's the big picture. How am I going to make it? How can I break it down so I can see that this is possible? And I say to my clients, when you make $1 towards your $10,000, I don't want you to just keep worrying about the dollar you make. You can name that dollar any number. You can say, I'm putting in the tin my $100 bill, even if it's $1. You can call it your $100 deposit. What are
Mm-hmm.
you doing with your mind is messing with it so that it start accepting numbers bigger than it's used to.
Okay.
And for some people, $100 is big money to them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell them any different. And they'll explain to you why. Don't knock them, just listen and explain why Here's a better way of seeing it.
Oh, I never thought about that.
Big money's made way before the money comes in your hand. It's really made before you hold the money.
Now, is this because what you're really doing is making a space for it to reside?
Yes.
It's sort of like when you're going to get new furniture and you
Yes.
envision it in
Hmm.
the room.
Yes. Yeah.
So now you're envisioning these things in your account,
Hmm.
in your heart,
Yes.
in your life, what it would
Yes.
feel like to
Yes.
have those things.
Hmm.
I see. So what you're doing is redesigning your
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
It's
And
sort of
you have
like,
to make the space for it, as you just said. If you don't make the space, there's nowhere for it to go. So it comes in and it leaves you immediately.
so it's a mental reset
Hmm.
about
Definitely.
finances.
Yes.
Hmm.
And you have to watch your conversation, because if you want to make money but you keep saying money's garbage, it means nothing to me, I don't really care about money, I don't care, it's not a big, it's not a big deal. But then you meet somebody and say, you know, my rent is $3,000 and I can't afford it, or my mortgage interest went up, how am I supposed to pay that bill? It was coming, and you say, I don't want it. You are the first person, once you get your money. I argue with people, argue with me all the time when I say to them, sit your butt down and write the budget you want, and then write the one that you're sitting in right now,
Hmm.
and then let's transport you to the one you want regularly, daily. And this makes you upset. And you know why you're upset? Because you're like, I don't have the money, I don't see it, why should I do that to myself? Well, you're sitting watching TV, or you're watching a movie, or you're watching a show of people who's doing exactly where you want to be, but you don't want to do the work because they look fancy, full, and great right now. Were you there when they were doing the work to make you think or see them in this light? Were you there? These things are
Hmm.
taking 6 months, a year. This thing is not an overnight thing, because you didn't get where you are overnight. And it feels hard because it's just something you never done. That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Okay.
It feels hard because it's something you've never done.
Mm.
I can
Hmm.
clean my house to back and forth, but the day I decide to train people on how to clean a room efficiently, it was hard for both of us. It was darn hard, but I kept doing it, and I kept bringing in the people. And some failed, and some did well, and some I had to let go of. And of course, especially when I like somebody, I felt like, how could I train them better? Well, here what it was. I learned over time that person wasn't meant to do that specific job, so I had to let them go. Didn't matter how I liked them. They
Mm.
couldn't do it efficiently in the time frame I've given them. Now, I also had people who couldn't do it in the time frame, but say to me, Caren, I'm willing. Can you imagine you teaching somebody to clean and they said to you, I'm going to go home and practice? And people look at it, it's cleaning. Like, why would I need to practice that? Well, let me tell you, I had a girl who did that. And she never stopped working for me until her husband got sick and she couldn't come anymore.
Oh,
Because
okay.
she went home and practiced how to clean properly, because she so wanted the job, the freedom. Because the
Mm.
job provided her the freedom to finish at a certain time, go home and look at her husband, and
Hmm.
only had to work Monday to Friday, because her other jobs had her in the weekend, call-ins,
Mm.
paid her
Hmm.
more, didn't have her the flexibility. There's a lot of reasons people do things,
Yes, there are.
you know.
There are. And there's a lot of reasons why people will do it for less,
Yes,
or demand more. Hmm.
yes. Hmm. And so when you start thinking, when you start thinking about a place of love, this is why also the other thing I tell people: if you're going for a job, don't rush into a job until you understand why you want the position. I don't care how great it looks.
Mm.
Evaluate yourself, see where you are, see where you want to be in 6 months, a year, 2 years, and then go after the type of job will allow you to feel happy and great and perform at your best and beyond. Because the one thing I always tell my employees is like, I don't have to watch you, but God is seeing you from the time you wake up till you go back to sleep, whether you believe in Him or not. And so when you mess up, it has nothing to do with me in the company. You're going to feel bad long after you leave Nurka Cleaning Services. You're going to be feeling bad for different things, and you might not even realize why. And if that's your style, you're going to carry it in different places, and you're going to keep losing jobs. You're going to keep being let go of because you've developed this style of, I don't care. I'm not going to do it well. It's not for me. You think about the language and where you're going and where you're moving with things. That's when
Mm.
anybody complain about their job, I'm like, then leave the job and do something else, because that place no longer serve you and you're not serving the space that you're in, which means the lessons that God has allowed you to be there to gain, you're also missing out on.
Mm. Okay. Well,
All right. Moving along.
that's real.
And it is. It is. It is.
Hmm.
So, once we understand about growing our income, right? And we get to the place that now it's growing.
Hmm.
Sometimes we eat too much. And what that means is if you've been starving for a long time and you get food, you eat a lot of it. And you feel, we call it overgage in Guyana, but you feel you eat too much and you're just feeling this feeling of too much inside of you.
You bloated
You're
and you.
bloated. Yeah. You're uncomfortable when you sit down. You've eten too much. A friend
Hmm.
of mine years ago, she just came to Canada and I'd invited her to dinner. And she said to me, I can't believe that you're going out of your way to do all of this for me. I said, well, I invited you to dinner. So we had a 5-course meal. And she
Oh
said,
my goodness.
Caren, why? You could have just served me. But I wanted to treat her well because this was my new friend. She's a new place. She's missing her family, and I wanted to look after her well. We served a salad and soup with some roll. We had the main course, so that, 2 sessions
Hmm.
there. We had a main course. We had finger food first. A couple of people there. Then we had dessert. And she said, I left and I wasn't feeling crazy stuffed. How you do it? Because I
Mm.
plated accordingly. So even though it's a 5-course, all the potions is set up so that at the end she could still have dessert and not feel like she's too stuffed from the food,
Yes.
from the size of the food on the plate, from the hors that she got when she came in. Everything was potioned well. And just give her that room to leave satisfied,
Mm.
comfortable. And she says, anytime I cook for myself, I have a lot of food on my plate and I always overeat or I eat seconds. I didn't want seconds from you. I said a conversation was rolling, you're eating good food, you had good company, and all those things together satisfied you.
Wow.
And I'm bringing this around to money because when you get a lot of it, right? If you overeat, or meaning overstimulate yourself, buy a lot of stuff, eat a lot of food, watch a lot of this, do a lot of that, all of a sudden, whether you ever had anxiety or depression or any one of those things, you start feeling this collaboration of a whole bunch of things coming at you at once, and you don't know what it is. But it's from all the things you've been doing. It started cloaking in on you. This is the reason I believe a lot of people who make it fast and quick, go on drugs, do a lot of silly things, is because they don't know how to behave with a feeling that's coming up quickly. So they're using other things to help bring them down, but it doesn't do that. It doesn't do that. So what am I
Mm.
saying? So you were wanting this $10,000, right? And let's say you didn't plan like I talked about. You're
Uh-huh.
like, my bills are like $4,000. What am I going to do with the extra 6,000? And the minute you make money, you think about all the people you can help if you're a helpful person. You think about all the things you can buy for yourself if you're a shopper. And then let me tell you, maybe you'll do it for month 1, month 2, month 3. You're not going to do it for 6 months. If you don't plan in advance, stabilize where your money go, you'd start going crazy. You might treat the wrong people to the money, and now they expect it from you, and you're annoyed that they're coming for more. But you give it to them. You call them in. You didn't pay for some things that you were supposed to pay for. You forget you bought a bunch of things on your card, and although you have the money, you still overextend yourself. No, you're on overpayment. You're like, when did I buy this? Because you weren't paying attention. But had you
Mm.
set it up, you understood that if my budget says I needed 5,000, 4,000, whatever, and I've got an extra $5,000, some of it might be to pay down debt, some of it is to invest, some of it is for cash flow, some of it may be a project you've been wanting to build out for a long time that needs some monies, and that's where you're throwing that money. There's a
Mm.
place. You organize, you know,
Oh.
you're not overeating. You're not overextending yourself. At the end
Okay.
of the year, you're not saying, "Hey, I made $100,000, but I don't know where it went."
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get upset with either your kids, your husband, your sibling, somebody. I helped you buy that car. Remember when I helped you do this? Because now you're back to the lack situation. You want these people to come in and help you because you did this to yourself.
Okay.
Overextended, you overate. You went off the deep end because you don't want anybody to tell you what to do. You don't want anybody to direct you, but you could have done it yourself. Nobody had to tell you
Mm.
because you are smart enough. That's what I told you last week. You are smart enough. So if you're smart enough, we want to get these things in place. We want to understand what we want, what vehicles we're using to get to where we're going. And when
Mhm.
we get there, celebrate, enjoy it, and then ask where to next. I personally like people to try to plan, 3 to 5 things, in advance, so that they have the other train to catch and they're not freaking out. They're not freaking out what is the other thing I was supposed to do. And if that other thing, by the way, is not another journey to climb right away, but that other thing was a vacation, that other thing was a rest period, take it. Please don't think that you have to jump on the other train right away. Maybe the other thing when you get there is, I'm going to spend a week in Costa Rica, or I never went to Europe, so I'm going to take a 12-day boat cruise. That was in the
Mm.
plan. So go do it. And when you go on the cruise, don't carry work with you. You're not making up any time. You're resting. You're resting your brain, body, and soul. Eat the foods, enjoy the entertainment, take trips, talk to new people. Enjoy the time you're there so that when you come back, you could do the work because you refresh, you reset. Jim
Mm.
Rohn used to like to say that. He says, when I would at the beach with my family, I would be thinking about work. And when I'm at work, I'm thinking, oh, I wish I can get to the beach. When you're at work, work.
Mhm.
When you're at the
Mhm.
beach, enjoy the beach. It means if you're learning to build a website and it's going to take somebody 3 days, but you're new to it, prepare to take 3 months. Now, if you finish sooner, great. Give yourself the time that's needed. Stop rushing.
I like the idea of when you're resting.
Yeah. When you're doing, you're doing. We have to understand that we need those in between times.
Mm.
Terry will tell you, I do the BizChicks know I take time off between Christmas and January. I
Mhm.
need that reset time. During the year, I take a week off of social media. Sometimes I take 2 weeks off of social media. And yes, the first couple of times I do, it's like, oh my God, I'm not posting. And I caution myself. It says, you're taking a week off. And I take it off. I don't do it. I read a lot of books then. I sew a lot. I crochet. I do puzzles. I go for
Mhm.
walks. I paint. That's what I do
Yes.
with the time. I just get that time that is so important to really that thing. I call it my thinking time, and just so many great things flow from it. And don't let nobody hurry you up. Take as much time as you need.
There you go.
And number 3, deciding on less or doing the mundane for long periods of time. It feels daunting, but decide that it's okay. Nobody can decide that for you. Decide that it's okay. If you're going to build a YouTube channel that I am focusing on right now, it's probably going to take you a year.
Mm.
Don't
Mhm.
listen to 2 weeks, 3 months, buy an audience and nonsense. It'll probably take you a year. But what are you doing? You're going to want to decide how often you're going to post. You want to research what you want to post, how the capacity and how you feel about posting the things you want. These are important things, not because everybody else might doing it. What is it you want to do? What is it you want to tell the world? What do you want them to learn at free of charge? What do you want to gift to them? That's it. And then let it work itself out because you're doing other things. Don't go
Mhm.
on YouTube waiting for the income that you may gain from there. Let it come in. But do what it is you set out to do. You're gonna give freely. I tell entrepreneurs all the time, work for free. I tell my kids and everybody work for free. And everybody said, why would I want to work for free? We've been doing it our whole lives, but we don't pay attention to it. When you're a kid, you work for free for your mom and dad. your single mom, whoever you have, because you're gonna have to work for them for free. They ain't giving you nothing. They're giving you what they're supposed to give you, but you're not getting a salary for it. And when
Mhm.
you get a job, you work for free for the, depending on the job situation, 3 weeks to a month before you get a salary. You've been working for free. You just haven't figured it out. And when you work in salary, you work a lot of times for free compared to if you were getting hourly paid. And you break it down. And you work for free a lot of times on your way to and fro work. Because
Mm.
mine is I'm going into work, I'm gonna get this set up, I'm gonna get this done. You start working before you in work.
Yes. Yeah. You get there early. You stay late.
You work for
Yeah.
free. So why wouldn't you want to do this for your business? When you get a job, they're gonna train you. But the real in-depth training happens while you in the job and you're learning a better way to do it, a more efficient way, so your job day is great. That's why when you leave and your boss wants you to train the next person, because they didn't do a good job already training you, but they see what you have done and they're like, let me take that and let me give it to the new people so things can keep running smoothly.
That's a very good observation. Yes. They will ask you to train your replacement.
So if you're doing that, you were in a job, people are in jobs 20 years and what have you. That experience, that was a time building. And then they'll say to me, well, Karen, I was paid for that thing. No, no, no. You were paid, but you really weren't fully compensated for what you have done. Let me tell you. And I know that you weren't really was. So if this is your business, train yourself in the areas that need training, and some things are going to take longer. Like, what's going to take the longest? Understanding you and how you behave and develop into the best you could be as you go about your day. That training is all about you. Now, coaches pull that out of you and we help move you along a little faster, but you still have to go in there and do that, almost feel like unnecessary work, but it's most necessary work that you
Mhm.
have to do. That most necessary work, like making up your bed in the mornings, that some people, I don't care. But having a nice bed, that this was my grandmother thing. She loved the white sheet and she used to press her sheets. Now I don't press mine. But when you go on her bed, Terry, you don't want to leave. It felt so good. Like I'm there right now.
I remember my grandmother had a mangle, and so those sheets, they felt like they had been sent out to a company, a
Right?
major laundry company. Yeah, they were stiff and they were pressed to the nines.
My mom don't
Mhm.
press her sheet either, but my mom bed, because she likes her bed. She's got her mattress cover. She's got. I mean, you don't want to get out of bed. Anytime I lie in her bed, I just fell asleep. I fall asleep when I go there. The pillows, everything's just scrumptious.
Mhm. That's true. Been a long time since I thought about it. Yeah.
you know. So dedicate the time. That came with time, I'm sure, with my grandma, right? Dedicate the time for the things that is needed. And the first person you need to nurture and look after is you. A friend of mine called me last weekend and she's like, Karen, what are you doing this weekend? We haven't talked, like, we talk business and stuff, but just personal. Like, oh, I'm doing a petty, I'm getting this and stuff. She goes, how do you find the time for it? I said, but I make the time. Like, I know, but how do you find the time? And she said, no, I really want to develop some time for myself. So I went,
Mhm.
she says, we're talking about, and I tell her I take a bath and la da da. And she says, but setting up and taking down. I said, I bet you if your fella wanted something, you'd feel pride in doing it for him. Why couldn't you give you an hour? And this is the put up and take down. I said, I light my candles. I clean out my bathtub because I'm going to set up my salts, my bubblies. I said, I don't drink. So there's ginger ale in a glass with a little bit of grapes popped in there with some ice. I use a wine glass. So it just makes me feel good. I put on some
Yes.
soothing music. I'm going to soak for a good 20 minutes, just thinking about all the beautiful things in life. And then when I'm done, I get out to take a shower. I'm out of there. I allow myself. I said I had some expensive cream that I bought that I lotion myself with just for when I take my baths. And
Very
I
good.
feel so luxurious and so good. that I gift that to me.
Mm.
And usually when I come out, I probably be reading a book or just doing something really just continuing that into brushing my teeth and getting to bed. Because that's my time. I like
Mm.
at the end of the day.
Yes.
She's like, now that you're talking about it, I'm feeling myself there. I'm like, because it's good. You can give this to you. And you don't need a lot of money to do this. You can just give you these small gifts so that over time you can get into the bigger one, guys. When you understand that doing mundane things like, and some people find it boring to set up a bathtub, as she said, but to me, it's what I'm going to get out of the bathtub, right? Once I'm
Yes.
in there soaked. And so for you, right? So I'm in there, I'm in salts, I got a couple of nice moisturizing oils in there. I'm coming out feeling really juicy. When you put in that time for your business, you coming out feeling really juicy.
Mm-hmm.
You come out, you got your funnel set up. When you talk to your, if you're a coach like me, or starting on, you want to be a good coach, you got to go educate yourself on a lot of different things so you can talk to your people really well, right? You have to onboard them. You have to have systems in place that you want them to go through. You have to figure out how you're going to onboard them, how you're going to take their money, how you're going to get things to them, all the things that is necessary. It's worth building out. So when people contact you, you're not scrambling. Like, oh my
Mm.
gosh, somebody's paying me all this money. Ooh, but then you have to do the work now. But if you were getting things set up, you're happy to be able to evolve and do this sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Guys, you're smart enough. Okay. You're smart
Thank you.
enough to do this.
Because I think a lot of times, when you're in business and you are a one man band,
Mhm.
a lot of times you just don't feel like you're smart enough,
Yeah.
especially if it's not moving the needle.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And when we're not moving the needle, I was telling my mom that this morning. I said, when we're not moving the needle, it's all these things, and get a little bite size of what stops you. Most of us, not everybody. I might not have enough money to pay my bills. And it starts like this: I can't pay my full bill. So, how could I do something else? My kids are going crazy. My husband is bothering me. My sister's sick. Something's happened to my mom. I'm letting all of this crowd me so I can't focus on my business. The truth is, and I don't want to sound terrible, but if your mom is going to die, she will. And you can't stop that. You are not the maker. But you can do the best you can with your mom. If your sister has a problem, you can talk to your sister and you can say, sis, I can give you 15 minutes, but that's all I got. Because tomorrow I can give you another 15.
Well, think about it. If we had an employer, we could not do these things. And so we have to treat our businesses as though, give it the same respect we gave our employer.
Yeah, because we are employees of our businesses when we started.
Hmm.
If you see yourself as an employee, you would do business better. I think I get an upper hand because that's how I had seen myself without realizing it when I was little. So I know that from 6 o'clock in the morning all the way to 9, these are the things that I have to accomplish for those 3 hours. And like clockwork, Monday to Friday, I get them accomplished. It didn't matter that I own a business. And then I know from around 10, the employees are on. Yes, and I had employees since I was a teenager. And from 10, I got these two people is going to come for me. They only worked in the summer. They're going to come
Hmm.
at 10 o'clock. They're going to pick up product and they're going to go with it and they'll come back around 2. And so they go with like 4 hours doing the sales and stuff because this was physical things that I was selling. And they are really working hard because they want to outsell. They learn very early. I decide a price with them, but if they come back early, they get a bonus, and that motivated the heck out of them.
There you go.
In my 20s, I had about 6 employees. Same thing. You sold out before the time slot, and there's something at the end of the wheel for you.
Nice. Nice. Well,
So,
Coach,
you know,
um,
anyway,
let's
yeah,
let's
going over my time.
review.
I got excited.
Yeah, let's recap.
Yeah. So today we talk about why growing our income feels impossible. And a couple of reasons because lots of time we're working out of a place of lack, or we were starving so much that when we do get, we just eat everything in the sense of we take it all in, use it all up, and we start back at square one.
Mm-hmm.
And number three is deciding on doing the mundane is very important when you're starting out. And even if you're in the middle ground, there's always going to be this mundane because that's the learning curve that's happening. When you become a millionaire and you're trying to get to billionaire status or multimillionaire status, you're going to find new challenges. And there's a lot of mundane things that you're going to have to do. Didn't matter how much you can employ people to do, there is things that you have to do, and those things that you have to do is those working mechanism in your mind, shifting how you think, how you move, on deciding what's important, what is not important. You're at a different level now, and so you have to make really wise decisions. If you didn't finish your master's, you might think, I should go back to school and get my master's. You have to ask, is this an ego trip, or am I getting my master's to show people? Do I really need it in the business I'm doing? No, don't do your master's, not at this point. You can do it later. Set a date, get there, and then set a date. Don't get distracted. So it could be good things that is distracting you. It's not always bad things. It could be good things that is distracting. Your friend says, let's go away for the weekend. And you know that you need to work on you. Your friend will distract you. She's going to invite you to things that you don't want to do right now. Tell her next weekend or on the 25th of I don't know, January, we could do this. Set a date with her. Don't let her or him distract you.
Wow. Well, Coach, I just want to thank you because when you come, you always bring such important and valuable information that makes us reflect on what's really going on in our businesses, what's really going on in our lives that is either helping or hindering the success of our business and the success of our personal and business finances.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I like to have a good time. I'm not those business owners who's like pugging away and not having a good time.
Exactly. So, guys, if you're looking to build a profitable business that's fun to run, we suggest that you set an appointment with Coach Caren Fern. And we're going to put this link in the chat so that if you're looking to set an appointment with her, you can simply click on that link and go over and, hey, book that appointment. Sometimes it's just good to brainstorm with someone else, to talk with someone else who has a different perspective about what's going on with you and with your business. So, Coach Caren, we just thank you. Also, we want them to know that you have a course coming up. And so I highly recommend that when you book that appointment that you talk to Coach Caren about the course. How's that, Coach? so that you can get yourself ready for 2024.
Oh, girl.
As you believe
Oh my
the
God.
holidays are already here. Trees are going up. It's just
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And
2 weekends away from my tree going up. I got a granddaughter, so I can't go too early.
Okay, because every day it'll be when is Santa.
Oh, you know.
So with that, we want to remind you that it's okay to make money in your business. So go to the front of your own line. And if you're looking for help to do that, you can join BizChicks by texting Biz to 33777, or you can go over to our website at bizchicks.net, set up a profile. We'd love to help you make money in your business.
Yes.
We have a knack for finding money in your business. So you might want to have a little chat with us.
Right?
With that, we want to remind you that tomorrow we'll be talking healthy happy. What is it? Healthy, happy habits. I got tongue-tied there for a minute.
Right?
With Robin Shimizu and friends. And on Friday, we'll be talking tech in easy to understand terms.
Yes.
The coach, we want you to know that we appreciate you, all that you do. Say hello to Mom for us. and take care of that cute little granddaughter that runs through your office all the time. We love her.
She's my assistant.
Yes, your personal assistant.
Yes.
So with that, we want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, bye-bye.